Welcome back to the universe of power. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all things within the Power universe. While episode 4 seemed like a filler episode during certain moments, we did see a major death this episode. In my opinion, episodes 3 and 4 were really building blocks that are leading us to the mid-season finale, which will be episode 5. Now, if you have been tuning into my channel for a while, then you know that I really don't discuss any of the leaked episodes that come out. But if what has been going around is true, then it looks like I am spot on with yet another prediction of mine that I gave at the beginning of the season. But more on that later. In episode 4, we basically saw the continuation of the events from episode 3. The heat from the feds continues to rise on not only Detective Howard for the death of Burke, but Raq as well for the death of Sal. We saw Raq get approached by the same two officers that were watching her in episode 3. The two officers seemed to be dirty cops that could make things very difficult for Raq and her new ownership of the salon. Judging from the previews of episode 5, it looks like Raq will be brought in for questioning. All of the suspicions that I had as far as the end game for Raq seem to be taking place this season. Between the heat from the feds growing every episode and Ronnie wanting her out of the picture, it seems as though Raq will have to make a tough decision by the end of this season. Either Raq will have to go on the run and leave Queens for good, or she will have to stay in Queens and continue to fight all of the things coming her way. But if Raq does choose to stay in Queens, then I think the chances of her going to prison or getting taken out by Ronnie will become more and more of a reality for Raq. But I also would not rule out Kanan being the one to take her out. In episode 3, we saw Raq put 2 and 2 together and realize what Kanan was up to. We saw Raq set up Kanan by placing a gun in his backpack that led to him getting in trouble at school. It will only be a matter of time before Kanan finds out that Famous led Raq into his apartment yet again and received more money from Raq. Along with Famous watching Raq place the gun in his backpack. Originally, I thought that Famous would be taken out by Raq or by Ronnie. But between everything that has happened within the last 2 episodes, I am leaning more towards Kanan actually being the one to take out Famous. Kanan already warned Famous about letting Raq into their apartment and receiving money from her. When Kanan finds out that Famous disobeyed his orders and basically assisted Raq with setting him up, I think that this will be the last straw for Famous. Not to mention, the preview for episode 5 seems to show us Famous getting arrested. In my opinion, Famous was never built for the street life. And I think if he is brought in for questioning, chances are he will most likely fold under pressure and snitch on Kanan. Which could be even more of a reason for Kanan to take him out. And for those of you who might ask the question, why would Kanan name his son after Famous if he took him out? Well, it could be possible that Kanan really didn't want to take out Famous, but he really was left with no other choice. And Kanan probably felt guilt after taking him out, which led to Kanan naming his future son after Famous, to hold on to the memory of his childhood friend. We already saw how twisted the adult version of Kanan's mind was. As far as the theory of Famous being the guy locked up with Kanan in the OG Power series, I think that the chances of this being true are slim to none. There was never anything that referred to this guy as Famous. Now, if you have seen every episode of Season 3 so far, then you probably have noticed that the highlight of this season has been the emergence and quick development of one character. Some people refer to him as the Hood Michael Myers, while others like myself consider him the frontrunner to be Breeze. Of course, I am talking about none other than Ronnie Mathis. Ever since Ronnie got released from prison, he has been on a mission to get back into the street game and take out anybody standing in his way. We saw him meet with a new character in episode 4 that goes by the name Snaps. We learned that Ronnie worked for Snaps in the past and made him money. Because of this, Snaps agreed to give Ronnie the loan that he needed. There definitely seemed to be some underlying tension between Ronnie and Snaps, and I think they could both end up clashing at some point later on in the season. If Raq does end up going to prison or getting taken out, then I think that a war between Ronnie and Snaps could take place in Season 4. There has been a never-ending debate on whether or not Ronnie is Breeze. Of course, some people will continue to have their doubts about Ronnie, but when the facts about what we were told about Breeze are completely disregarded or ignored, then the debate becomes even more convoluted. Some of the same people that have denied the chance of Ronnie becoming Breeze are some of the same people that have said Famous was Breeze and Lou was Ghost's father, without anything that supports their theories. Here on my channel, I lay out every logical detail that lines up with my theories. I go off of what we are shown and told on screen, and based off of this, I give my theories. I don't just come up with theories without anything that supports them. There are some that seem to think that Ronnie is smart, therefore it couldn't be possible that he would be Breeze. But I would like to point out a few moments from this episode that clearly show Ronnie not making smart decisions. Like, for example, Ronnie walking right into Dean's bingo hall and grabbing him while making threats to him right in front of his security guards. Or even when Ronnie approached Joaquin and Juliana when they have armed security guarding them. Neither of these were smart decisions from Ronnie. Which yet again is one of many other comparisons that line up with what we were told about Breeze. I understand that some people may have envisioned a different actor to play the role of Breeze, as well as some people not liking Ronnie's character. But once again, I will say that everything with Ronnie's character is lining up with the description of Breeze. There have been way too many instances and subtle hints that point to Ronnie. There have already been 3 television references in 3 different scenes with Ronnie's character. The way Ronnie moves and carries himself is very similar to how Kanan and Ghost operated as well. Ronnie certainly has a routine that he follows, as we clearly have seen this season. Just like we were told in the original Power series by Kanan that Breeze had a routine. In the final scene of episode 4, there was a moment that we the audience never saw coming. We saw Ronnie take out Dean as he was preparing to change the battery for his mother's hearing aid. This was probably the most unpredictable and unexpected death so far this season. For Ronnie to take out someone as powerful as Dean, this clearly is showing us the level of how ruthless Ronnie can be. While I have stated in many other videos my opinion on Ronnie being Breeze, I still don't fully close the door on the chance of someone else actually being Breeze. But on the other hand, if we just take a step back and look at how Ronnie's character has been the centerpiece for this season, it is quite obvious that the writers have been building Ronnie's character from day one for a very specific reason. Now, of course, there has been the theory of D-Wiz's brother being Breeze. But we are 4 episodes in and there has yet to be any mention of D-Wiz's brother. I have a strong feeling that whenever D-Wiz's brother is introduced, there will be a lot of disappointment from some of the people that think he is Breeze. A character of the magnitude of Breeze has to have some type of backstory and origin. It would make absolutely no sense for them to just throw Breeze into the show without giving us any backstory on his character. Which is why every episode it seems to become even clearer that Ronnie is Breeze. And lastly, this episode we saw Marvin agree to help Lou run the jazz club with Shirley. In my opinion, I think that things will run smoothly for them in the beginning. But with Marvin having the urge to move product at the club, I think that this could spell a recipe for disaster. Which ultimately could bring attention and heat to the club that could lead to it being shut down completely. Which could cause Lou to have the need to open another club in Queens, where he will need someone to run the club that doesn't have ties to the streets. And this is where Ghost's father Curtis St. Patrick could come into play. On a side note, the theory of Uncle Marvin being Uncle Gabe and Lou being Ghost's father that is going around makes no sense at all. If Kanan and Ghost were cousins, this would have been mentioned from the very beginning. How do you see things playing out for Ronnie this season? Will he continue to elevate and ultimately reinvent himself? Or will someone take him out? If the leaks are real, does this even give even more confirmation to the theory about Ronnie? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all things within the Power universe. See you all next time in the universe of Power.